reboot to, hang on, let me get a little closer, or at least fix this stupid camera. Alright. Anyway, hi guys. I can't be way too loud right now, because it's currently 1 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, I was supposed to do this episode earlier, actually way earlier. Let's see my original paper here. When was I supposed to? I was actually supposed to do this episode February 7, which was my birthday, which was Wednesday, and it got pushed back at least by 1, which pretty much pushed it back to February 8th, which was Thursday, but I wasn't able to even do it then. So now I'm doing it now. Anyway, this is The Flash, Season 4, Episode 12, titled Honey, I Shrunk Team Flash, which of course by that title is a little cute little Easter egg to that very well-known movie is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. If you haven't watched that movie, it's a pretty cute movie. I liked it growing up, so it's one of the few movies my mom actually allowed me to watch. Actually, no, it wasn't even my mom. I think it was on my dad's side when I watched that shit. Anyway, yeah, let's get started. Look at my wonderful handwriting for this episode. It took up a whole effing page. Anyway, this is literally by memorization. This is everything I remembered from this episode. Legit, right there. And I wrote it all down. My hand hurts. And I have to go to work. Literally, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and my shift today starts at 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 to 7, and so I have like 9 hours before my work shift. A little less than 9 hours. Let's go. Anyway, it should be like 8.5 now. But anyway, yeah. From what I remember, Cecile develops telepathy. Apparently, Cecile's development of telepathy is a combination result of her pregnancy combined with apparently dormant dark matter that's in her cells. But according to Caitlin, it's just temporary and it should fade probably when the baby's born or something, right? So yeah, until the baby like pops out, Cecile has telepathy. I don't know how Cecile managed to get some dormant dark matter in her cells, because I'm pretty sure Cecile was nowhere near the bus or the dark matter portal that Barry zoomed out of, so maybe some of that dark matter cells were on Barry when he traveled through. I don't know. It could be possible, because keep this in mind, Barry came out of that portal, and because of that giant portal, the bus of people ended up getting dark matter. Right, so maybe Barry, when he zoomed around, he still had like residual dark matter on him, and whoever came in contact with Barry, dark matter got on them. So maybe Cecile might not be the only one that developed something, or maybe it might not even be temporary. That might be permanent shit. Just saying, that could have been permanent shit right there for Cecile, and there could have been other people that got in contact with Barry that might have gotten residual dark matter from him and got affected like her. You'll never know. But anyway, back at jail, Barry, he learns a lot about Dave Ratchet, because remember Dave Ratchet, he was Henry Allen's former cellmate. In the comic books, he's known as Big Sir, if you don't know who that is. I know in my previous videos, I used to, if someone was in the comics brought into a live action like this, I usually would get into who they are a little bit in the comics, but I have a lot to say in this video, and I don't want it to take too much time because I'm not a well-known YouTuber. I'm only restricted to 15-minute videos, and if I go at least close to 15 minutes and 30 seconds, it will not let me upload, so I can't really talk much anymore. But I am going to look up all the characters that were introduced in this season that are in fact in the comics already, and I'm probably going to have my own little separate videos for them once I get the time, because keep this in mind, I work like 6 days a week now. It used to be 5 until they took away one of my day off, so it's 6. So forgive me for the late videos. I know I have to catch up on these videos, Supergirl, The Flash, Arrow, Legends is coming back, so I'm going to have to catch up with that later. And then there's Black Lightning. Those are 5 shows there already. And I'm already missing at least 3 Yo Video Game Mail Time videos from 2017, which is the 7th Lazy Loot Box, the 11th Lazy Loot Box, and the 12th Lazy Loot Box. And I'm already missing a 2018 Mail Time Lazy Loot Box, which is for January. So that's a lot. But anyway, Barry learns that Dave Ratchet, aka Big Sir himself, apparently he's innocent. He's an innocent man in jail, just like Barry. Apparently there was a robbery, and not only just a robbery, but it was also a homicide, because whoever caused the robbery ended up killing somebody, right? Apparently, I'm not sure if it was like a cop or something, but it was definitely a witness to the robbery, and whoever committed the robbery ended up killing that witness. And it turns out that Dave Ratchet himself, he was there at the time, because he's like, oh my god, what happened? And he tried to save the person that got killed by the actual robber, by the actual killer. And he was trying to save the poor man, but unfortunately he couldn't save him. And unfortunately, when he was trying to save the victim, the cops showed up. And apparently the person who actually committed the crime and Dave Ratchet, they kind of had similar features, which was a big burly dude that's bald and shit. So apparently, if you look at Dave Ratchet, he is a very big buff guy and he's bald and everything. But apparently the person who committed the robbery and the homicide was also a big burly man who was bald. So, from descriptions anyway. So of course, the people who were there during the robbery, they described the robber / killer as a big burly man who's bald. And of course Dave was there, and they're like, huh, big burly man who's bald, and he just happens to be with the victim. So that didn't turn out very well for him. But apparently, we find out that the real culprit is someone named Silbert Rundine. I could be pronouncing that name totally wrong. Tell me if in the comments how to pronounce it. You could put like parentheses how to pronounce it, but it's spelled Sylbertrundine. But apparently in the comics, Silbert Rundine is known as Dwarf Star. Again, just like Dave Ratchet, aka Big Sir, Dave Ratchet and Silbert Rundine, being Big Sir and Dwarf Star respectively, are actually in the comics. And I'm not going to get too much into it. If you want to get into it, you could look them up yourselves. Like I said in previous videos, it's actually fun looking up these characters because you actually learn a lot of shit. It's like, huh. And these are characters that not many people know of, so get to know these characters, guys. But anyway, another thing that Barry learned was that, according to Ratchet, that, you know, Barry, he offered to help him out. He's like, my team can help catch the real culprit and set you free. But then Barry learned that Ratchet, even though if he was set free, he wouldn't really be happy in Central City. Like, it's kind of like in jail, he's not happy. And even if he got set free, he still wouldn't be happy in Central City. And apparently his big wish is that he wants to live in this secluded Chinese village called Jiaju. I could be totally pronouncing that wrong. I'm sorry if I offended anybody. It's spelled Jiaju, Jiaju, or something like that. And instead of living in this city and all that stuff, because it's just going to make him unhappy like he was in jail, he wants to live there because it's secluded. And it's away from everything, right? Start over in a new place. And his biggest fear is that he'll never get a chance to see that, right? Hang on for a second, I'm going to pause. Oh yeah, and I forgot, apparently all this happened 15 years ago, so I forgot to mention that as well. Turns out when the team confronts Rundine, apparently Rundine was actually one of the people that was on the bus when Barry escaped from the dark matter portal, so he's one of the bus metas. And apparently one of his abilities is he can shrink and enlarge objects by blasting them. And Joe, Ralph, and Cisco confront him, only unfortunately Rundine ends up managing to blast both Cisco and Ralph, which in turn shrinks the living hell out of them. And let's see here. if I remember correctly, Harry attempts to, cure them. Unfortunately, it backfires, and according to Caitlin, if Cisco and Ralph don't return to their normal size by a certain period of time, apparently their bodies will, in fact, explode. And it's like, oh great. So mini explosions for little bite-sized things. It was so cute because we had cute moments with Cisco and Ralph. I'm not going to get too much into it, but there was a moment where Cisco wants to see if he could vibe back into his normal size. Doesn't work. There's also that moment where Iris steps on poor Ralph, and we get both of these guys pretty much hanging out on a Lego set, a Lego diorama, which I thought was hilarious. Let's see. What else happened? The team ends up confronting Rundown. Of course, there's a moment where Harry feels like he failed, like when he tries to cure Ralph and Cisco, it doesn't work and it backfires. And, he feels like he's failing because he's not really doing anything to help Barry get out of jail. And there's a good somewhat heart-to-heart between itty-bitty Cisco and Harry. Those two they butt heads a lot. But to see, Cisco give a nice a heart-to-heart pep talk to Harry, which pretty much inspired Harry to figure out, what's his face? Shoot. Rundine's powers, he shrinks people, but in order to bring them back to normal size, you have to go into the line of fire again. So basically, since they shrunk Ralph and Cisco have to literally go in the line of fire of Rundine again. So Rundine has to shoot again, and the two meany little dudes have to go in front of that blast in order to get big again, basically. And they end up confronting Rundine, and Harry manages to trick him into pretty much blasting him, and apparently Cisco vibed him and Ralph in front of the blast, which in fact enlarged them back to normal size, which is pretty damn cool. And Iris manages to collar his ass, which I think is hilarious. But Rundine ends up getting arrested, but unfortunately he refuses to confess to the crime. In fact, he even makes fun of the fact that, oh yeah, didn't Ratchet get put to jail for that? Ha ha ha, and all that stuff. And that moment, I really wanted to punch Rundine in the face, because literally, I like Ratchet. He protects Barry, and he's a good person. He's an innocent person that just got put to jail because he was there in the wrong place, wrong time, and he just happened to have similar features to the actual criminal, which really sucks. But anyway, of course, Barry's sad because, Rundine doesn't admit to the crime, but, Joe's like, hey, people out here and as well as in there, they need you, He pretty much has a mini pep talk to Barry, which pretty much inspires Barry. We see Barry in his cell, and he's waiting for the camera to turn, and then he ends up using his speed, takes Ratchet, and sends him all the way. We see this cool montage of him going through China and going through the frickin' Great Wall, and he drops Ratchet off at G.I. Joe. So Ratchet could live out his dream of living in this secluded Chinese village. And he even gives a little note saying sometimes we do get the movie ending, which I thought was pretty damn cute. And we see a very happy and content Ratchet, which I was like, good for you, Ratchet. Live your dream. But, one question though, Ratchet. You pretty much were taken straight there out of jail. You have no other clothes but the clothes on your back. And you have no belongings or even money. Good luck, man. But you got to go to G.I. Joe, whatever. Anyway, apparently the warden, Gregory Wolf, apparently put a secret camera near Barry's cell because he was kind of sketchy, especially since Barry started investigating Ratchet's case. And unfortunately, that secret camera caught Barry using his Flash powers, and so Gregory Wolf discovered Barry's the Flash, and apparently drugged Barry by putting some sort of concoction in some of the snacks that Barry's been eating, and basically locks Barry in a private wing. And apparently he's in communication with Amunet because he's planning to sell Barry to Amunet. So apparently this is a very bad warden here in this jail, who is apparently selling off the metahumans in the jail to Amunet because he's trying to sell the Flash. So yeah, my reaction, and I'm currently running out of time. I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye.